This is CNN, a network of Turner Broadcasting System.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. To their great credit, the Trump team is going on CNN, and it's a very smart move because CNN has humiliated themselves regularly in the beginning of this administration, starting off with them losing a defamation suit against a Navy veteran and getting tens of millions of dollars in punitive damages ruled against them. It could be hundreds of millions by the time the Florida court is done. Don't lie about Navy SEALs, jackasses. But anyway, the Trump administration continues to send some of its more intelligent spokespeople on the platforms of CNN. The guy who was sued for defamation was Jake Tapper. Jake Tapper wasn't done with the humiliation ritual this week and decided to have on probably the highest IQ member of the Trump administration. Not trying to insult anyone, it's just a matter of fact. Stephen Miller is the genius behind so many of the America First policies themselves and their implementation. He was on live TV in the midst of all of the deportations that Americans are loving, by the way. And Jake Tapper said, "Oh, but we need immigrants to pick our crops." And Stephen Miller committed a murder on live TV, and there's no other way to explain it. I'm sure you will agree. Certainly millions of people on my X account have agreed. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is entertaining television.
A question because one of the reasons that President Trump got elected, according to President Trump in an interview, I think it was with Kristen Welker of NBC, was because of grocery prices. Not the only reason, but a reason: high prices, inflation, especially at the grocery. The Department of Agriculture says that between 2020 and 2022, 42% of crop workers were undocumented immigrants. And in many cases, as you know, these migrants do jobs many Americans do not want to do. So how does President Trump make sure that the effort to deport people who are not in this country legally doesn't end up hurting Americans who want safe borders, absolutely, but also don't want to see even more higher prices in groceries?
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's not your position, Jake, you're just asking the question, that we should supply America's food with exploitative illegal alien labor. I obviously don't think that's what you're implying. Only 1% of alien workers in the entire country work in agriculture. The top destination for illegal aliens are large cities like New York, like Los Angeles, and small industrial towns, of course, all across the heartland, as we've seen with the Biden floods. Mm-hmm. None of those illegal aliens are doing farm work. Those 30,000 illegal aliens that Joe Biden dumped into Springfield.
I'm talking about the ones that are.
But I'm explaining this. It's important to understand.
No, you're kind of changing the subject. I mean, I'm talking about the ones.
I will give me 30 minutes. I'll go as deep as you want on this. I'm explaining to you and your audience.
I don't have a 30. I'm talking about the ones that work in the agriculture industry.
I'm
you
explaining
can come back
to you
and we
your
can talk
audience.
about the ones in the cities. I swear.
I'll do the whole answer. The illegal aliens that Joe Biden brought into our country are not full stop doing farm work. They are not. The illegal aliens he brought in from Venezuela, from Haiti, from Nicaragua, they are not doing farm work. They are in our cities collecting welfare. As for the farmers, there is a guest worker program that President Trump supports. Over time as well, we will transition into automation, so we'll never have to have this conversation ever again. But there's no universe in which this nation is going to allow the previous president to flood our nation with millions and millions of illegal aliens who just get to stay here. And we are especially not going to allow a subset of those illegal aliens to rape and murder our citizens. So we are going to unapologetically enforce our immigration laws, and as I'm sure you will celebrate, we are going to unleash the power and might of the U.S. government to eradicate the presence of transnational threats on our soil.
So the headlines out of that interview are just delicious. Tapper left stunned as Stephen Miller explained why Trump ordering a surprise freeze on federal spending. Tapper is completely at a loss during the entire interview. It's been a very exciting time to watch them try to gasp and catch up with this shock and awe from the Trump administration, which is, I think, the best possible way to explain what's been going on over the past few days. The Trump administration, just 10 days in, and it's like we're living in a completely different country. Stephen Miller scorched Jake Tapper. Who's going to pick the crops? Miller continued, only 1% of alien workers in the entire country are in agriculture. Top destination for illegal aliens are large cities like New York, where they collect welfare. Well done. Well done. Stephen Miller shuts down Jake Tapper for asking a gotcha question on illegal immigrants. The age-old problem with Democrats and the Democrat Party, who will pick our crops? Leading to the, the first migration crisis in America and a civil war. Ladies and gentlemen, Democrats always worried about making sure that some other race picks their crops, like this insufferable white lady on CNN, clearly over-medicated, like begging somebody to go bend over and pick her blueberries. Here we go.
I mean,
these building trees guys are being hurt.
I can't
by
wait.
labor that shouldn't be here.
I can't wait until American women can't get blueberries for their smoothies. I cannot wait until there is a full crackdown on all small businesses, as if that's going to be the solution to the immigration problem. It is just going to put immigration-related issues further into the darker corners. We're not going to see them. It's just going to become even harder to solve the problem. It doesn't make sense to punish individuals and people when there is a broken system.
I mean, look, I think if you came here illegally and you know when you came, you know you did it, you know you broke the law, you have to understand it's a new day in America. And number two, I still think the case for total economic collapse, if we have some deportation, is totally overstated. I mean, it's obvious the priority is violent criminals and the second priority is people with existing deportation orders. I think it's the vast majority of what's going to go on, for the next couple of years. And I don't think that's going to have any impact on the economy at all.
But I wonder about just acknowledging the role of undocumented people in the economy. I mean, I think that's the part that's not happening. I mean, earlier today, Stephen Miller was on with Jake Tapper, and he was asked.
And just to prove that we do know that there's a trend here, and we do pay attention, you have Nancy Pelosi and Jerry Nadler doing the exact same thing. These are members of Congress. Not that Jerry Nadler has ever eaten a vegetable in his life, but these members of Congress very concerned about who's going to pick their crops.
And we need immigrants in this country. Forget the fact that the farm, that our vegetables would rot in the ground if they weren't being picked by many immigrants, many illegal immigrants. The fact is that the birth rate in this country is way below replacement level, which means our population is going to start shrinking. And the ratio of people on Social Security and Medicare is going to increase relative to the number of people supporting them.
The fact is that we have a responsibility to secure our border. We also have a responsibility to recognize the importance of newcomers to our nation. Right now, the best thing that we can do for our economy is to have comprehensive immigration reform. We have a shortage of workers in our country, and you see even in Florida, some of the farmers and the growers saying, why are you shipping these immigrants up north? We need them to pick the crops down here. But that doesn't mean that we don't recognize our moral responsibility as well. When the president, the former, occasional occupant of the White House.
But going back to this interview and this segment of the interview, you should watch the entire thing. It's like a 10-minute interview. Oh, it's just gold. It's just gold. The ending keeps getting better. Jake Tapper wants to own slaves. Stephen Miller absolutely torches Tapper on his who's going to pick the crops if illegals don't do it. Man, look at this. Apparently, Stephen Miller cries passionately and weeps when talking about H-1B visas. In the meeting, and Miller held up his hand to make a final comment. I didn't mean to come across as harsh, he said. It's just that this is all I care about. And I have a family. I don't have anything else. This is my life in talking about criminal aliens. Stephen Miller goes scorched earth on Jake Tapper. We are so back. Stephen Miller in a masterclass on how to speak and dismantle the fake news industry. I don't know what you're talking about. Jake, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Stephen Miller won't get booked again on CNN, I don't think, because just a little too high IQ. And ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Miller, very happy to explain, no. When they say they're not going back, they're going back. Stephen Miller, ladies and gentlemen, somebody we hope never leaves the White House. He's Deputy Chief of Staff, assuming he'll be Chief of Staff someday. What a homie. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe for more high IQ content.